I think Arrowhead's greedy enough. I'm just like, damn, bro. I'm like really disappointed in the way that we're engaging with this, because like that doesn't even make any fucking sense, brother. Like, you realize that like if you really wanted to, you could pay $40 for this game and then never pay another dime if you ever wanted to.
This was shot in front of a live studio audience.
That's why, low-key, when I made the short about talking should they make a Helldiver mobilization warbond part 2, but make it $20, and then when I looked at the comments saying like, aren't we against corporate greed? Don't we want things to be free? Or like, I think Arrowhead's greedy enough. I'm just like, damn, bro. I'm like really disappointed in the way that we're engaging with this, because like that doesn't even make any fucking sense, brother. Like, you realize that like if you really wanted to, you could pay $40 for this game and then never pay another dime if you ever wanted to, because you could just grind out the farm. You could easily farm out the premium currency in this game. And I play this game enough that I don't farm anymore, and I still have like I have enough for 3 war bonds if I wanted to. It's insane. I feel like this community is a little spoiled when it comes to things sometimes, because to be honest, Arrowhead, you know, we want bigger war bonds and everything, but and I know people, including me, want a Hellpod or a Helldiver. I keep saying Hellpod. A Helldiver Mobilization 2 that's like 8 or 10 pages of just pure meta pushing or just a bunch of awesome shit. And the only way that's happening is if they can see an ROI on it. All right. And there's no way that they're gonna put an ROI. They're gonna invest time into a. Okay, I'll walk back to the bunker. They're not gonna invest time into a huge war bond that they're not gonna make any money from, or barely as much money as they would, or the same amount of money they would as a normal warbond release. Like, obviously they would want to get some money out of that, which is completely fair. I don't think there's anything wrong with a company or a studio trying to monetize a game in a right way. There's a difference from a game trying to sell me the color blue for $5 or $10, or selling me an armor set that used to be in a previous game but now it's in a new game for $30, than a game that is making a bunch of content that has not been in the game before for like $20. And it never goes away. I don't get it. Like, having you can't. This game doesn't have any paid DLC. You pay the only quote DLC I guess I guess I take that back actually, because the war bonds would be considered DLC. I guess to me DLCs are expansions, I should say. This game has no paid expansions. Everything that is in the game, for the most part, besides the war bonds, everything's free, all right? There's nothing that you have to pay for besides the pre-order stuff that I don't even think you can get anymore. So yeah, you're right, Rob, but people have forgot about the concept of running cost. I think people think that they just make this shit for free, and that like the developers just work at the studios for free and they only get paid from like game purchases, and that's it. Like, these developers, every time they clock in the work, are costing the company money. If you tell these developers, hey, like, you know, I need you to work on this war bond that's going to bring us X amount of money, I have no idea what the numbers are behind the studio, right? So I don't know how much a war bond costs them or how much a war bond makes them. Or you can spend a bunch of your time making this huge war bond that's going to cut into a bunch of other projects because you're not working on those, and then it's going to cut into the other war bonds that would be making them more money, or the same amount of money that they usually make, into a huge 8-page war bond that no one wants to spend any money for because they think somehow that's corporate greed. I don't even know. I think we've been so like brain rotted into monetization bad, which has now like just made it to where like when a good studio like is out there and they're making content, no one wants to pay for anything. Like 90% of these studios out here, 1000%, I agree with you. They're greedy fucks, and you know, they fucking post, or not post, they drop like lazy ass content that's rehashed shit as absolute ass and not thoughtful in the least bit. But like the only problems really when it comes to Helldivers war bonds, for the most part, is people are usually just mad that it's not the most broken shit in the world. For the most part, that's the only complaint I usually ever see. I never see like, oh man, this fucking content sucks because it's just a reprint of this or that. And usually the people who do say this gun's just this, or like for example, like when people said like the amendment is just the Constitution, are usually just flat wrong, because it's not. They're literally 2 different guns. So I'm about to gun you down. You don't move out the way. I wish when you just bought the game and got in the entire content. But that's not. You do have the entire content. I don't know what you're talking about. Even back then, you bought a game, and if they made content for that game later, you would have to pay for it. I don't know even what that means. That's like the dumbest shit to say. I miss when you bought a game and you got all the content. Like, unless you're talking about bad monetization that other games have, like perfect example, Halo, where you have to spend like $12 if you want to color your Spartan red, where in other games that was completely free. But when I'm talking about Helldivers, like, I mean, that's not, you bought you spent $40, and you got two things when you spent $40. You got full access to the game and an 8-page war bond. I mean, buying shit in the game. What do you mean by that? Buying shit in the game? Yeah, Chrono. That's what I'm happy to give them money too. That at least as long as it makes sense. You know, like I'm not gonna say Arrowhead is like holier than thou. And they will never get greedy. I mean, there's a possibility for them to always become greedy, and where I'll be like, hey, this is not a good thing that you should be spending money on. But I mean, as of right now, I don't mind giving them, like, saying, hey, I'll give you $15 to $20, and you can invest some of that money, and it's $20. It's like no premium currency. Like it's a paid DLC. You're like guaranteed like another 8 pages worth of like content or like items, weapons, and armor. $20 and unlock this gun and lame skin. But that's not what we're talking about, Arthur. We're not talking about that. Ain't Paradox, but they must address the buggy game. They do have to address the buggy game. But the thing is that those are two different parts of the studio. Like one part of the studio I'm talking about is like, I don't know how their shit's set up, all right? But you have your QA and your bug fixing part of your department. Then you have the part of the department that focuses on making new content. And they probably have a team in that part of the department that makes new content that's dedicated to Warbond creation. And I'm just saying, for that little team that makes the Warbonds, I'm willing to cough up $20 for an 8-page war bond. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, other games are like I say, other games are greedy and they don't even release full title games. I mean, 95 when you buy it, when a live service game drops at first, you're literally playing an early access level title basically because of how buggy, untested, things aren't even finished, down to not even just like gameplay mechanics, but even like the universe of a game. But it really isn't holy shit. That really isn't Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 kind of came out as a complete product. I mean, yeah, it's buggy as fuck, but that's due to the engine being kind of shit, not Arrowhead being bad devs. And like I'm just saying, I just don't know. I don't know why people. I feel like people are just so like, which is understandable. People are so anti like monetization because it's gotten so bad recently in the industry, where like we're literally seeing ads and paid promotion inside cutscenes in video games. But I mean, on the other hand, when you have a good game like Helldivers, I don't know what's wrong with me saying like, hey, you know, I would like to see this kind of content, but me realizing like, hey, it's gonna cost them money to make this, and be like, hey, I'm willing to pay like $15 or $20 for this. I don't know how that makes me for corporate greed or bad monetization. That's good monetization in my opinion, especially when everything else in this game is mostly free, and at most there's a $10 monthly subscription if you're buying every war bond. But for the most part, if you really are dedicated, you can literally just grind out the premium currency and get each war bond, especially since this game doesn't have FOMO on paid content, and you can easily just over time farm for SC and get war bonds that you missed, or war bonds that you like, you know, because they never go away. Sadly, it's sad to say that Helldivers 2 is a unique game these days. But it's the case. Like, what other game out there allows you to grind the premium currency? I don't know any other live service game that lets you grind the premium currency as easily as Arrowhead 2. Because usually other games that let you grind the premium currency, it is the most like ass grind in the world for barely any. I have to spend $10 a month for PS Plus. Well, that's PS Plus. I can't. I mean, that's just stupid as fuck to me personally. That consoles are still making you spend money to use internet services. That's the one thing that I like about PC more, is I don't have to spend money monthly to play with other people. I could just buy the game and play with people for free. But hey, leave the doors open so we could kill the impalers and shit. But that's a different topic. I just feel like people just like I feel like for the most part, everyone in that comment section who was like telling me that like, aren't we against corporate greed and all that, I feel like most of the time they just hear their favorite YouTuber talk, like have a video essay about like why corporate greed is bad, and then aren't even able to form their own opinions on like what kind of monetization is good or bad, or have ever even like understand how a business operates. Is the spot still open? Sadly not. Yeah, I know they don't care. Sony doesn't care about like it's the same with Xbox Live and paying for Xbox Live to be able to use like a network service, which is insane to me. Like I think in total for me, I've spent around $80 on Helldivers, and I have like almost 1,400 hours in the game. All right, I have everything in the game, and I've only spent $80 because I paid for the $60 edition, and then a while ago I spent $20 like month 3 of the game when the 3rd Warbond came out. I spent $20 on the super credits, and then after that there was a few days in a row where I just spent like grinding out SC. I was like, I'm gonna grind out enough to where I never have to worry about this shit again, and I mean, even though I'm getting lower and lower, because I used to have 5 grand, I'm still at 3 grand worth of super credits. Like, I could still buy the next 3 war bonds or buy 1.5 war bonds with the super items, with the superstore items. I don't know any other game that will let you do that. And I know that shit cuts into their costs, especially when the community is, and I don't mind that the community is like this, where it's like so pro grinding for super credits, which is, there's no problem with. There's no negative with me saying that. So I know that shit cuts into their costs, especially when like big updates like Mega Cities, Super Earth event, and all that bullshit, Escalation of Freedom, Omens of Tyranny, all those big expansions of the game are free as well. So for the most part, the studio is only getting a one-time injection of cash from its core community, and then for the more casual players, they're getting a, you know, every month injection of like $10 from other people. I'm just saying, you know, I feel like them selling a $20 8-page war bond, not only will it justify them making a huge ass second mobilization, which I would love, but 2, I mean, you know, all that extra money. But people don't realize when a corporation, when a corporation, or not corporation, when a dev studio gets more money, they get access to more resources, meaning cooler shit. I'm just saying, I trust Arrowhead to do that, unlike other studios, which will like make extra money from a DLC or something, and then it will just go to bonuses for the CEO or the management and not towards the game. That would be cool if they had like a second mobilization war bond for the Xbox players. That would be sick.